Hi, thanks for joining me. This is Angie at ChicnScratch, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make 8 cards using one sheet of Designer Series paper. Here are the supplies we're going to be using. The Designer Series paper is Rich Razzleberry, and it's just a 12 by 12 sheet that's included in the Brights collection. Here is the template. So all 8 cards, this is our template for One Sheet Wonder number 9. You're going to also need 4 sheets of the thick Whisper White cardstock, 2 sheets of the Rich Razzleberry cardstock, and 1 sheet of the regular Whisper White cardstock. We're using Rich Razzleberry ink. We're using a brand new stamp set called Confetti Celebration, and it's going to go live on June 1st. We're using 2 punches that are retiring this month, the 2.5-inch circle punch and the Itty Bitty Accents punch pack, sad face. We're also using the circle framelits. This is also retiring, but I will say that we have some different ones coming. And then we're going to have or use some rhinestones and a bone folder and the Stampin' Up trimmer. Okay, so I'm going to put all these supplies out of the way and we'll get started cutting first. Let's see, where do I want to put that? Okay, so the 4 sheets of Whisper White, that's going to be for our card base. So I'm just going to take the Stampin' Up trimmer and place it here on top. We're going to cut all 4 sheets at 5.5. Let me get the dark blade, which is the cutting blade. So 5.5. And again, we're going to do that to all 4 sheets. I love the thick Whisper White. If you have not tried it, please do so. It is fabulous. Okay, now what we're going to do is score these at 4 1/4. So all 8 of these are going to get scored at 4 1/4. And if you have the Simply Scored scoring tool, sometimes that works a little bit faster. When you're doing a lot, it's nice to have a separate scoring tool. Almost done. Now this card that we're making looks amazing in Blackberry Bliss, but I have run out of Blackberry Bliss Designer Series paper, so I will show that card on my website. You can compare it to the Rich Razzleberry. Now we're going to fold these on the score line, and I do like to use my bone folder. Come back here. Okay, so now we're just going to set these card bases aside and then get out our trimmer again. Pay close attention to where you're cutting this, because if you want to get all 8 cards, you need to make sure that you cut it exactly at the 3-inch mark. This measures 12 by 12, which means that you get 4 strips that measure 3 by 12. But you just got to make sure that you actually cut it at the 3-inch mark and not any bigger. So that's 3. And 3 again. And 3 again, and then that leaves a 3-inch strip. Okay, so you've got 4 strips here that measure 3 by 12. Now what we're going to do is cut at 5 1/4 and 5 1/4. And we're going to do that on all 4 strips. So your final section or your final piece of cardstock will measure 3 by 5 1/4, and you will have 8 of those. A couple more here. Okay. Okay, so your scraps for this 12 by 12 sheet, this is it. You have 4 little pieces, so that can go in the garbage or you can use it for something else. So now we've got our 8 pieces here. We've got our 8 card bases. Now what we want to do is cut our circles to stamp, so that 1 sheet of Whisper White cardstock, you're just going to cut out 8 white circles. And it's easier to go ahead and cut these out first so that you can see exactly where you're stamping. I love this punch. I'm so sad it's going. Okay, there's our 8 circles. So we're going to be cutting this using the framelit. So let me get the Big Shot. Okay, so I said I was going to get the Big Shot, but I forgot to say that you actually need to cut your cardstock before you can place it on the Big Shot. So I'm just going to cut this, and I'm going to cut 1 more. Now we can run it through the Big Shot. Big Shot. Magnetic platform, cutting pad, and I will fast forward this so that you don't have to watch me cut all 8 circles. Now we're going to take our itty bitty accents little flower here, and we want to cut 8 flowers. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so there's that. What we're going to do is go ahead and stamp on our circles. Okay, Rich Razzleberry. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So first I'm going to stamp Happy Birthday at the bottom. Then we're going to take Time to Party. Couldn't read that. And I'm just going to stamp it right above. I'm being very careful because I got new ink pads during celebration, and they are really fresh, which means they have a lot of ink. Okay, so now we're going to stamp the other 4. Same thing. You guys are going to love this stamp set. Now we're going to take our dimensionals and we're going to place dimensionals on the back. I'm going to put 2 on each of them since it's a fairly large circle. Okay. when I first became a demonstrator, there was a period where we used to use the leftover rubber from the stamp sets back when we used to have to trim them ourselves. We would use them for dimensionals. I need to look in my storage and see if I can find a card where I did that. That was so long ago. I don't know what made me remember that. Oh, I smudged this one a little bit. Now this card that I'm making is similar to the one that I made my downline for May birthdays. It is a little bit different. I will show that one when the actual product becomes available. And this dimensional has lost its sticky. Okay, last one. I smeared that one just a tad. So let's get our card now. The next part is really cool. It is not complicated. We're going to get our trimmer back out, and I promise you this is really easy, so don't stress out. What you're going to do is take your strip here. This measures 5 1/4. And then this measures 3. What you're going to do is place it on your trimmer at an angle. And all you want to do is, and you don't have to do this exact measurement, but you can if you want to. Your trimmer right here at the very top. I don't know if you can see that. You can't actually. Let me get it in the camera view. So right here is, well, if I could see, what is that? That's 1 inch, so that's a 1/2 inch. Okay, so if you place the tip at a 1/2 inch, and you place the tip of this one at the 1 inch, or you can place this at the 3/4 inch and place this at the 1 1/4, it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to show you a couple of them, okay? So I'm going to place the tip at 3/4 inch and place this tip at 1 1/4, and I'm going to cut. Okay, here's our piece. So what we're going to do, I'm going to slide the trimmer out of the way, just going to turn this over, both pieces, and I am going to add adhesive. You can use your favorite. Okay, let me lay this down. So I'm going to place this one here and this one here, and then this one down here. That gives you your 1 inch space there. Isn't that awesome? So now we're going to do that for all of them. Now the only suggestion I can give you for doing this is just don't mix up your pieces. So you can either do one at a time or stack them. I actually like to just stack them so that way I don't get them mixed up, and I actually don't measure it. I just gave you guys that measurement so that you would know where to cut, but you don't have to cut that way. So this is my first piece. And let's see, this is my second one. If you place the larger piece on the bottom and cut, then you can stack them. So I'll show you. So that's bigger piece on the bottom. Just don't mess up your stack. See, you can get a lot of cards done this way really quickly. I think I made 22 of them, or 24, in like an hour, less than an hour. So now, take our first two pieces, turn them over. I'm going to be using these cards, so I'm putting good adhesive on them, meaning they're not going to be samples that sit in my room forever. the next two. I will probably fast forward this and give you a little bit of music so that we can get to the next step. So you can attach your circle either with liquid glue or your snail, whatever your favorite choice is. So I'm just going to place that right in the middle. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to add our flower. So we're going to get some glue dots out. And we're just going to place one glue dot on every flower. I think the flower, the reason I like it so much is that it allows you to add a little bit of bling without using ribbon. So that's why I'm sad it's going to be retiring. Oh, got the glue dot in the wrong spot for that one. Okay, so our final step is we are going to take our paper piercer and we're going to add a rhinestone right in the middle of the flower. You can use the smaller ones. I just sometimes like to use the larger ones since I seem to always have an abundance of the larger ones and I always run out of the small or the medium size. So look, here they all are. Aren't they pretty? Now let me show you the Blackberry Bliss one. Isn't that beautiful? I just love how rich it is. And again, I ran out of this designer series paper, so we used Rich Razzleberry instead, but they're both beautiful. Okay, so this wraps up our One Sheet Wonder number 9. If you'd like to place an order for any of these Stampin' Up! Products or download the template for this One Sheet Wonder, please visit my ChicnScratch website. Thanks and have a great day. Bye.